Hello, everybody. Oh my God. This is season 4 of Hour of Healing. We are here. We are alive. We made it, guys. Yes, 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 yes. I am your host, Candace. I hope you guys missed us. We are back again. I'm back again. And I'm here with Dr. Joe. As usual, we are going to talk about, again, as usual, a thought provoking topic, editing the power of choice. All right. But I hope you are ready. I'm ready for this year. This year is going to be a lot of surprising things are going to happen, a lot of growth, a lot of, everything that we've done in the past. This is the year to really water it for us to see growth, right? So we lay down seeds, we lay down foundations. So I believe this is the year for growth. So be ready and, just take it one day at a time with us and you will be blessed. Hour of Healing Season 4. I'm excited. Dr. Joe,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm doing so well, Sister Candice, and I am super excited. I am pumped up because, like you rightly said, I was going to, in my introduction, talk about the fact that this year is a year of increase and
Mhm.
growth is increase. Growth is a form of increase. So I am excited. I am so thankful to God that we get to do this at least one more year. Each and every year we go to God seeking if we should continue or stop.
Mhm.
So we thank God that He has paved the way for us for season 4. And Sir Candace, I am excited, I
Yes.
am pumped up, and I
Yes.
am ready.
Yes, as we all in the audience out there. So I know you guys, I just want to, just give you guys this heartwarm statement that we are here with you, right?
Yes,
We and without you we wouldn't be here, right?
yes.
So we appreciate you guys. We honor, we value you guys listening in and day out and sharing
Mm-hmm.
it to your loved ones, right? You can just listen and sit on it, but you care enough to share it and we greatly appreciate that. We want you to continue doing that for this season, right? Don't forget
Absolutely.
to share so that we can heal communities, families, individuals, so that we can increase, like Dr. Joe said. So I hope you are ready, just get up your seats, right? And let's get on to today's topic. As usual, we want to
Yes.
get into the, inner beauties of the topic, the background, the motivation, the inspiration behind it. And it's editing, mainly editing, right? But then the subtopic of it, or when we break it down, is the power of choice. And
Absolutely.
as usual, you never know where this discussion is going to go, part one, part two, part three. So when you see subtopics like the power of choice under editing, you should know that there might be some surprises. So be ready, all right? So I will hand it over to Dr. Joe for us to get the background of this theme or topic today.
Absolutely, Sir Candice. Thank you so much for hosting us today and welcome to 2026, dear
Yeah.
audience, the year of release for all of us. And as I have shared on our weekly prayer platform, release means different things to different people. But
Mhm.
whatever the release is, or whatever you need release to, from, or with, we pray that God will do it for you, and hopefully, it will please Him to use even a platform like this to help bring that to pass in your life. So,
Mm,
our topic today, as Sister Candace said, is editing, the power of choice. And I'm pretty sure that we have, or most of you listening to us, have written something before, created something before that needed some correction, that needed some proofreading, that needed some editing. And the truth is that whenever we talk about editing, it really has to do with not reconstructing everything, but having to try to make things either make sense or seem correct or appropriate. But
mm,
editing is not necessarily perfection. And
mm,
the reason is because whenever anyone is doing any editing, there is that editor's bias that is introduced. And
mm,
so, a bias like sentence construction, punctuations, grammatical structures, length of sentences, these are all at the mercy of the editor's bias. And
mm,
so, when we editing, we are not looking for perfection. We are
mm,
looking for correctness, appropriateness, and other things that we will be diving into.
mm.
Friends, I say this because our life is also a script.
True.
Our life is written by someone, and the chief editors of our lives, by the mercies of God, we will be showing you today, is ourselves. And so, if we are the chief editors of our lives, then there are things that we need to know in order to really be good at this job. And friends, this applies to you whether you believe in God or you do not believe in God. And again, we will always say that as long as or as far as it depends on us, it is our dying desire that you get to believe or you come to believe in God. However, there are principles of life that no matter where you are or what you are doing in life needs to be engaged. And one of these principles is the principle of editing. You know, a poet once wrote, and later on, this poem was adapted into a hymnal. And he said, "Father, I know that all my life is portioned out for me, and the changes that are yet to come, I do not fear to see. But what I ask thee is a pleasant mind, intent on pleasing thee." And I bring this hymnal up because, ladies and gentlemen, you will find through our conversation today that the people who are able to please God are the people who are able to use the power of choice in editing life. And so, Sister Candace, this is really what the background to our topic today is. If we're going to walk in increase, if we're going to walk in growth, if we're going to walk in release of abundance, deliverance, and whatever the release of the year will mean to us, we need to learn this principle called editing.
Wow, that's very powerful. And when you sent me the theme or the topic, I was like, yes, I like this topic. Because like I said, I could see a sense of self in there, and
Absolutely.
people like to take control. People like power. So, what better way to use power than on ourselves, right? So, yeah, I'm excited about where this is going. And I know when you were talking, you spoke about how life is a script, but I can't help but question, is there a person who writes the script? Am I the one who writes the script? Who writes that script, or what writes the script, right? So if you can delve into that part, that statement that you made, so that we can.
Absolutely. And yes, that's a very great question, Sister Candace, because you will find in life that many things come together to write the script of our life. Yes, I will say right from the get-go that we have a master writer, but the master writer, being our creator, our maker, is not the only one who writes the script of our life. Because you will find in the story of creation that when he was about to write the script of life for man, he made certain things or put certain things in place that will together form the script. And so not only are you created, but the things around you, your environment, your relationships, the systems and policies of government, these all play a role into writing the script of your life. But yes, the chief author of our life is our creator.
Right.
The main person who can take ownership of anything that is written is the one who made us.
Right.
But he did not make us in isolation or by himself. He made us putting certain things around. And so for our Christian followers, you will remember in creation that when God made man, the first thing he said before he made man is, let's make them in our image and let them have dominion. So as part of your script of being who you are, whether a male or a female, is the environment that you will have dominion over. But not only that, relationships are very powerful too, Sister Candice. If we miss out on relationships, we are missing a key component of the script of our lives. When we talk about relationships, we're not just talking about family or intimate relationships. Yes, marriage is part of relationships, but friendships are part of relationships, communities, part of relationships, groups, part of relationships, age mates, mentors. These are all relationships that are engineered to bring us to the place of success, the place of victory. If you undermine the value of relationships, Sister Candice, you will find that you will be knocking on the door of success throughout your life, not having anyone to open it because you haven't built that relationship. So relationships are very, very powerful tools when it comes to our life script. But let's not underestimate systems and policies, because we all live in countries or states or regions. And if we live on this planet Earth, no matter what region you live on, that means there are systems and there are policies that are made in order to influence the script of your life. Sister Candice, editing is a very powerful tool because, most of us will argue that we don't have a say in how the script of our life is made. But guess what? Editing is that tool that gives us the power and the opportunity to have a say in what is written about us and what stays. Not everything written in this script of our life has to stay. We have the ability, by the grace of God, the opportunity to be able to determine which of the scripts or which part of the script of our life stays. And that is really where our conversation is going today.
Wow. And I like the part where you said there is a master script writer or script builder, which is the
Correct.
creator, right? But then he
Absolutely.
doesn't just do it by himself, but he brings us in, like, there's like a sense of collaboration when it comes to our life script. And I like that.
Correct.
And you rightfully mentioned when you were speaking about how people feel like they don't have that right, or they don't have the power over their own life, right? What is given to them is what is. And so I like where this is going, because it's giving individuals the power back,
Correct.
and I want to ask this question. So it's established that there's a creator who writes our script or our life script, right? And we
Correct.
also have a part to play in this, right?
Correct.
Could there ever be like a contradiction as to what we are trying to write and what the creator has written, so to speak?
Yes, so Sister Candice, that's a very powerful question. And that is really where the role of editing comes in. As I was ending, I said editing is that principle that gives us the opportunity to write or to really choose which part of the script stays. Because at the end of the day, you will realize that with the master script, it doesn't just happen. Think about it this way. It's like having a movie plot. When you have a plot for a movie or a stage play or a drama, you know where you want to start and you know where you want to end. But the details of it really has to do with the actors that you choose, the settings that you choose, the backgrounds that you choose, and even the audience that you want this script to speak to. And that is really what our life is. God has purpose for everyone's life. In this purpose, because he is a master writer, he has written what we ought to do, but he doesn't impose it upon us to do it. So as an editor, you can choose to say that I see the script, I see the draft, I see the plot, but I will not follow it. Editing does not mean you are erasing or doing away with it. That's why I said in the beginning, when you are editing, you are making it appropriate.
Right.
You are working within the scope of the plot.
Right.
But in instances where you choose to forego the draft, then you have gone beyond the realm of editing. And that will be out of the scope of our discussion today,
Right.
in all honesty. But we will get to that with a different topic sometime this year.
Right. That will not be editing. That's like you just writing your whole story,
Yes,
right?
you are rewriting the whole thing.
The whole story. And you
Yes.
think about this in grammar class and English classes that you've taken. I mean, they gave you a story, right? Just go through it and edit it. You're not gonna write a whole. You're gonna get a zero, regardless of how good of a story you write. So
Absolutely.
that's very interesting to bring that up. But yes, and I think that's very powerful to speak on, because sometimes, and I think this can answer a certain question that is like controversial. Sometimes we get into this space of, this is what I've been given, and
Mm,
then here is the twist. We try to edit the script, right? But then when it doesn't go as planned, we forget that we edited the script
mm,
and go back to the initial script and say this is what the initial script gave me. Or if there is somebody who wrote this initial script, then why didn't they correct my mistakes?
mm,
So
mm,
when we speak on this, when you said there's a creator, which is God, who writes the initial script, right?
mm-hmm.
Does he ever come in to edit what we write in? Or what happens to a person when they refuse to edit their life?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's like, and this is actually interesting because you were talking about having the master creator. And if we have a master creator, sometimes we will edit and then we forgot that we edited and things like that. But the truth is, there are consequences when we fail to use this power that we have been given.
Mhm,
This, like we said, is the power we have in the creation of our stories.
mhm,
We don't write our own life stories, but
mhm.
we get to edit which
Right,
part stays. So
right.
when you fail to use this power of editing that you have been given, one
Mhm,
of the first things that happens is that we develop a victim mentality. We begin to think that we are a victim of life.
mm,
Meanwhile, we were never created to be a victim of life. The script of our life was written to empower us and guide us.
mhm,
In fact, the goal of editing is to strengthen what aligns with the script. If
mhm,
you don't exercise this, the
mhm,
script of your life becomes weak. If that happens, then you start to think that you are a victim of
mm,
life.
mhm,
Meanwhile, if you use the editing, the power of editing, you give strength and power to the script. And
right.
so you don't have that mentality.
Mhm,
Another thing is mediocrity. You
mm.
begin to think that where you are is
It's
enough
enough.
and there is always more. If
Right.
you understand this principle we're talking about, that there is a master script that
Mhm,
you are given to edit, then you begin to realize that there is more, because as long as we have life, there is more we can do. What
mhm,
about the issue, or what about the effect of disadvantaged mindset?
mhm,
If you don't edit life, you begin to justify your mediocrity, justify the things that are wrong in the script. And what that leads to is blame. And
mhm,
so we begin to say things like, life is not fair.
mm.
Well, Sister Candace, I have news for our audience. I know this is our first episode, but I came bearing news.
We ready?
Dear audience, understand this. Life is not fair to everyone. You
Mhm,
are not the only one life is not fair to.
right.
Everyone has to deal with this reality. The
Right.
only reason why we don't see that life is not fair to everyone is because some people have taken hold or grabbed this power of editing, and they are using it to bring meaning to the script of their lives. When we don't edit the script of our lives, guess what? The story does not make sense. Our life becomes meaningless.
Mm.
Our life appears that it doesn't have a purpose.
Right.
And
Right.
so, for the one who is sitting there, that young man, that young woman, sitting there at the verge of depression or even at the verge of suicide, listening to us today, I want you to understand this, that the reason why your life appears to not make sense is because you have forgotten that you have the power to edit. And if
Mhm,
you will edit, that is where purpose come in.
mhm, mhm,
Without purpose, life is meaningless.
mhm,
There is wastage of life. And so you will waste resources, you will waste opportunities if you fail to use this power or this principle called editing. And so, Sister Candace, the consequences of our refusal to edit life are massive. They are dire.
Wow.
And that is why I think it's so important that we understand this and be able to engage it in the right ways so that it will help life make meaning to us.
And I'm listening to everything you're saying, and I feel like this is the perfect topic to start the year off because we need our audience to be on a certain mindset, a certain page with us, right? Not only just taking in information as if it's being given to me, let me just take it, and I don't have nothing to do with it, right? But this is it. This is part of you having that power. You take the information and you use it to edit parts of your life that you don't want, and this is been my go-to thing to tell people all the time. There is so much power we have, like you have more than people think, like, and this we're both in medical field, but this is probably gonna just zap me into some different world or something. But there's like depression. There are so many emotional illnesses that you can literally zap yourself out with the power of editing. Like you can talk yourself out. You can build like it's so much power given unto us, right? But I don't want to go into that. I know down the line we're gonna talk about that. I believe that this is very important for us to really, take it and really let it digest in us and not just take it like, oh, I'm listening to another podcast, right? Because that's not the aim of Hour of Healing. It's something that we actually wanted to heal you, to work on us. It's working on us. I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, this is very good. This is very good. But I want us to really discuss this. Like someone is sitting here, they're like, I don't know where my life is going. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do with myself. And later when we get into the part 2, we're gonna talk about how to edit the right way, right? But someone is sitting there like, I don't know where everything is chaotic in my life, right? I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm doing with myself. I don't think there's any ounce of power given unto me. And what would you want to say to such a person? Or how do you get that person to just stand up from them laying down and then to even take everything we're saying in the first place? Because if someone is down, everything we said is like over their head.
Wow, Sister Candace. And before I even answer that question, I want to piggyback on what you were saying about this topic, grasping this principle for the ability for it to snap us out of certain things. Can you imagine the number of people who will be free, truly free, right now in their lives if they realize that they had the power to edit the script of their life?
A lot.
Imagine the people who have had negative things said to them over and over and over and over. And it got to a point where they felt that they have no say in the matter. You know, Sister Candace, is very interesting because let's take a scenario of a wedding. Imagine you have put in a lot of things or money and resources and time to plan your wedding. And on your wedding day, you are unfortunate to encounter wedding crashes. But your ceremony is over. You have your rings on. You are going home with your husband or your wife. Sister Candace, without this tool, without realizing that you have the power to edit, you can choose to spend the rest of your marriage, at least for the first couple of months, in bitterness, in anger, in hate, because your wedding didn't go right.
How you wanted it to be.
Exactly. But if you will realize that you have the power to edit, then you will realize that you have the power to keep what you want to keep out of that wedding.
Oh my God.
I'm saying this from experience because I have had a wedding. I have had graduations. You may have had graduations and weddings and anniversaries and things like that. And Sister Candace, those life events hardly ever go according to plan.
There's
but
always
some people will spend time
dwelling.
Reminiscing on the fact that their wedding or their graduation or their anniversary did not go the way they wanted. In fact, Sister Candace, I've encountered some people whose marriages were at the verge of breaking because of what happened at their wedding.
Wow.
Editing. If you realize the power you have to edit that phase of your life, you will realize that not only are you able to move on from that quickly, but you are able to enjoy the script that you are living. Let's leave the bandwagon of marriages and come to education. How many of us don't sit back and think that if I should go back to school, or I think there is a saying that they say that if I knew then what I know now.
Yeah.
And as true as that statement is, I believe one of the lessons that we can draw out of that statement is that through experience, we have gotten to the point where we can use the power of editing to be able to revise forward the script that we are living. Dear audience, I know that we want to wrap up today for you so we don't keep you too long because it's our first episode. But don't underestimate the power that we are talking about.
Yeah.
Imagine the one who endured bullying. And friends, I want you to understand, I'm not condoning any of these negative behaviors. But there is a saying that it's not what you call me, but it's what I answer to. It's not what people call you. Editing is what gives you that power to say that no matter what you are calling me, I have the power to choose what I answer to. Let them call you a failure. Let them call you good for nothing. Let them call you a stranger. Let them call you not belonging. And you focus on using the tools that we will be showing you in part 2 to edit your life script forward. And friends, give yourself time. And I assure you by the integrity of God's grace that your life will become a sign and a wonder. In fact, those same people will come to you and ask for your secret. This is the power of choice.
Wow.
Editing.
Wow. That's so good. God bless you, Dr. Joe. You know, I'm listening. There are more questions coming, so we're going to leave it to the part 2, guys. Don't forget to, tune in God willing, next week for the part 2 of editing, all right? So that you will know the power of choice that we have. And, a lot of things is just coming to me about character, personality, things, So we'll save it for the next half of this topic. And so, I just want to say God bless you all for tuning in again. Don't forget to share, all right? Because our aim is to not only heal individuals, but communities and families. So we have our social media handles, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook as well, Hour of Healing, correct, Dr. Joe?
Yes.
Yes. And if you have any questions, last year I said this, and I'm going to repeat it again. If you have any questions, any topics that is like you don't understand, you've really reasoned around it, but it does not make sense, be sure to send it to hourofhealing23@gmail.com, and then we'll do our best to tackle those issues for you. We are one family, and we want to hear from you too. We believe that God will not only speak to us, but also speak to you all out there. So we want to welcome, listeners' input and wisdom out there so that we can also grow, all right, from the level that God is already doing in our lives. So being that today is this week is actually the first episode of what is yet to come this year, I want to give you guys, I want Dr. Joe to give you guys a sneak peek of what is coming, right? So you get the special treatment. Okay. So I just want us to know if Dr. Joe, if you have these, if God has already directed you to certain topics that is, going to come along the year so that our listeners can really be, ready and excited for them. Is there any topics or anything that God has already given to you that is yet to come for the year?
Absolutely, Sister Candace. And thank you so much for hosting us. And the answer to that question is yes. But for the sake of time, this week I will just give an overview of the focus for the year 2026. I actually wrote it down. And then next week, after we had talked about how we are able to edit life, I'll go through some of the topics. I think I have about 22 topics right now that
Oh,
we have written down. We are praying to see which of our guests will fit best with which topics and which ones God wants us to tackle ourselves, because these are learning things for us too.
right.
I mean, whenever I am preparing for these things, this is my opportunity to learn. And of course, I re-listen with the editing as well. But the overview for our year 2026 really is how to walk in and maintain our victory and success. And so for the year, the topics will be centered around three main things. It will be centered around building the right character. It will be centered around wisdom, how we are able to appropriate value. And then it will also be centered around productivity and obtaining results. So really, these are the three major areas of emphasis that we will be focusing on throughout the year 2026. And I believe when we go through some of the topics, you will realize that they are centered on building these areas of our lives to help us maintain the success and victory that we either are enjoying now or we will be walking in 2026. So that is really what the emphasis for the year is on.
Beautiful. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I hope you all are ready too. But we're gonna meet you guys next week for this same topic. So we don't want to take much of your time. It is the first episode, and I hope you are ready for the continuation of it.
Absolutely.
So God bless you for joining in and tuning into Hour of Healing Season 4. See you all next week. Bye bye.